The Overwatch 2 world is not ending. Now, I know Bobby Kotick and his herd of goons deserve a lot of the blame for what's happened with Overwatch 2 in transition. You could put a little bit of blame on Jeff Kaplan, you could have a little bit of blame on the slow development, and a lot of the things that we're having behind the scenes starting in 2019, if not before then, deserves the majority of the blame. A lot of resources and a lot of money went into a product that may or may not be coming out in the exact same way that it was communicated to us. And there's need and a deserved amount of outrage for that sort of a failure and that sort of a letdown. However, that being said, this is not necessarily all a bad thing. Now, I know there's a lot of disappointment, confusion, and just disillusionment in Blizzard as general, and this has been a consistent theme in the past. That being said, a lot of things are moving in the right direction. I think we still have a benchmark for a lot of PvP goals that would have made Overwatch 1's balancing ratio, Overwatch 1's balance rate, look absolutely ridiculous. I mean, look at this, what we got right here, guys. We have a new support hero. We have a new tank hero coming up this year. We have a Roadhog rework. We have had a Sombra rework, not to mention all this other juice. But we've actually had a pretty decent balance schedule. While I've been a little bit skeptical of how well the balancing has been done, it's already doing a better job than it's been done in Overwatch 1. The communication has been literally 10 times better, if not even more. It's impossible to not be better than Overwatch 1, but it's been significantly better. And a lot of the changes have been fairly reasonable, if some have been missing the mark by a little bit. But at least they've been relatively quick at addressing those missed issues. Now, Overwatch 2 has not been perfect. There's still a lot of issues about the battle pass system. I still have issues about how slow they've been doing things with Lifeweaver. There's still a lack of communication and things like the replay viewer, because that's something that I'm still angry about. However, Overwatch 2 has a lot of fun and cool things going up. The main thing is the hero trait trees, and the PvE isn't going to be exactly as we expect it to be, and that's probably going to be a bad thing. There were thousands, if not tens of thousands of developer hours invested into that. That's never probably going to see the light. And the question is going to be, who's to blame? And I think the answer to that, from what I can gather, my uneducated opinion, is that it's something to do with, like I said, the Overwatch 1 leadership during that time of transition where everything went radio silent during Overwatch 2 development. There will never, ever be a good enough excuse for the lack of communication. There will never, ever be a good enough excuse for the lack of sourcing of funds when and where it needed to be done. There will never, ever be an excuse for an announcement of a brand new game, and for weeks and even months and even years later, we didn't know what Overwatch 2 was even going to be. But you can't blame Aaron Keller for that. You can't blame Jared what's-his-name for that. You can't blame the current developer team or even the old developer team for that. That's not their problem. You blame the Overwatch lane leadership, you're thankful that they're gone, and you pray that the Overwatch 2 leadership does a better job moving forward. And so far, that seems to be somewhat the case. They've been doing a much better job with communication, if nothing else, and that we have had a consistent output of content. Now, I'm with you guys. I'm of the old school generation where I like to pay for my game and enjoy my game and be able to receive content and to have the developer team and the leadership actually have passion in it. See, I was recently introduced to the FromSoft company, and every game that they put out, especially some of the more recent ones, have been phenomenal. Like, these guys, you know that they have passion for the game with the final product, and the game does really well as a result. And on the monetization models for a lot of other games out there don't show that same level of passion and definitely show a little bit of greed. Keep hurrying Overwatch 2 about that. That being said, let's not kid ourselves, guys. The game's fun to play. The game is probably going to be fine and has a roadmap of content that we haven't seen in years. Literally 5 years have we seen this much content, and not even then. This is more content than Overwatch has ever received. And overall, the game is still pretty fun, and we're still going to get some probably interesting and fun little bit of PvE. The shame is just not as much as we thought that we're going to get. But again, place your blame where it's deserved. Not with the current developer team, not with the current leadership. Blame on the people that promised too high and then underperformed. That set the bar ridiculously high, wasted tens of millions of dollars, and then did absolutely nothing with it. Screw you guys. Shame on you. I don't put that blame on the Overwatch 2 developer team, if nothing else because I don't know that they had anything to do with that. But let's be real, guys. The game's fine. The game will continue to be fine, at least for the short term being. Now, long term, it's anybody's guess. But let's at least be reasonable with the doubts that we may have. Let me know what you think in the comments. The world is not falling. The sky is not falling. There's just a couple of sharp rocks that we were going to have to be stepping over.